Hello, this is Lynne Herod Diverges from Spiritually Speaking Live, and I'm here with Gary Stuart, and we are talking about, or he's talking about, constellation healing. Absolutely fascinating. And in our last segment, you were talking about the knowing field of consciousness. And so can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, in the coming age that's happening right now, consciousness, as you know from your work and my work, there's a huge amount of information out there that's revealing itself to us, for the good of all, actually. So what we find with the knowing field that shows up in any given constellation, I don't figure out what the person's problem is, even why they come to see me. They come to me with a set of issues, a set of complicated things, a set of reactions, if you will. And I say, okay, well, let's see what the field has to say. So they'll be talking to me about money or this, I can't get a job, blah, blah, blah. And then grief will show up. And then people are crying. Even grown men come to the workshop and they break down crying, and they haven't cried in 10 years, no less in public, no less at a workshop. It's just the field of emotion comes through so strongly. And I had a guy last night, it was his first time here, and he said, whose life am I in right now? Because this is my issue with my family. And he was helping someone else, so it was perfect for him to be there. He represented kind of a perpetrator male role. It is in his family, but he was helping somebody else with theirs. So there's a cross-pollination of healing that goes on, that everyone is in the right place at the right time. And this field shows us on a silver platter what really needs to be released. So not to negate the symptoms, they're still valid in our life, but the field shows us, no, you may say it's money, it's really about grief.
Yes.
You may say it's depression, it's really about sexual abuse of your grandmother. And so we're prepared for anything and everything that shows up. And the big thing about the work, that field has unconditional love. And I believe I get the toughest cases because I can hold the same unconditional love that the field has.
Yes.
There is no judgment. If there was abuse in your system, we love everyone, the abusers and the abused equally. We make no one right and no one wrong, because we weren't there at the time. And we're not playing judge and jury here. We're facilitating healing at the deepest level. And when the one person comes to us to work on whatever that issue is, and that shows up, the whole family system is healed of it, even though they don't even know what a constellation is and they didn't show up in the room.
So that means not only the family system from those before us, but even those who are after us, our children.
Yeah, after us too. And the existing family who doesn't even know the work is being done.
Wow. Fantastic.
And it's absolutely fascinating. And just on a personal note, when I first did the work, I was working on whatever issue, career issue or whatever it was. And this is before I decided to become a facilitator. And the facilitator came up and says, what's really showing up is incest in your mother's family. And I said, well, go there. I said, I've suspected, but I had no proof or anything. So we just went into it, kind of went in that direction. I'm there, okay, that's interesting that showed up. That's not what I was working on. It was just a theory I had. And I didn't speak. They don't like you to speak about it for about a month so you don't lose the charge of the resolution. And my sister started calling me. My mother's been angry her whole life, and my sister's calling me. She's not angry anymore. She's happy now. Why isn't she angry and bitter? Where'd it go? It disappeared all of a sudden. I said, I think I know why, and I said, I'm not going to tell you, but I did some healing work, and I think I know what's been bothering her since she was about a 4-year-old girl.
Wow.
So my mother died at 74, and for 70 years, she had an angry tantrum.
Wow,
about her
powerful.
Abuse. 70 years. She was very angry, bitter. The last 4 years of her life, she was a lamb.
That is powerful.
And I don't think it was the fear of death that made her change. It wasn't. It wasn't.
I would say,
but it was seen, it was loved, it was held, and I kept her quiet because I could carry the healing for that, so the other sisters and my large family didn't have to carry it out of my love for her. And it gave me so much compassion for her that, I just viewed my mother was an angry bitch.
Okay.
I mean, that was our belief in our whole family. We believe that our mother's an angry bitch. And many parents do. Or my father's depressed, or my mother's an alcoholic. Whatever people label their families, once you see the suffering and where the suffering came from, you go, oh my God, how stupid was I? so I actually felt that with 30 years of therapy and primal therapy, everything that I've done until constellations, I felt I had a clean slate and I didn't know anything.
But that's fantastic, because it really does heal all of those
Absolutely.
dynamics. And what a wonderful gift you gave your mom.
Yes.
And you gave yourself and the rest
And my
of the family.
sisters too.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
my sisters too.
Yes.
And it's all about inclusion and unconditional love. So the knowing field is a field that kind of knows everything that shows up in the room. You could call it spirit or the greater soul in us or of our whole family system that knows where the wound is, where the pus is, and it takes us right to that within minutes. We can know in 2 minutes what the issue. Then we work through the different people till it's resolved, and you just feel this whoosh,
Yes.
a sense
yes.
of peace when it's done. You know it's been festering for up to 200 years.
Or more.
Or more.
I know in my particular situation,
yeah.
it really was about the inclusion, in my case, of some children that were unborn, and just what they were experiencing. And it was so powerful, and really just took me into some of those deeper places that I
Yes.
hadn't gone before, and really hadn't in many ways admitted to myself. And yet the healing was absolutely fantastic. And of course it was about something else entirely.
Exactly, that you're
and
working
then,
on.
Yes, that I was working on, but how beautiful it was to be able to finally have nurturing.
Yeah,
love
and
for
closure
them.
with
And
that
closure
too.
with that.
And it will help the living children as well.
Yes.
Once they're included in love. So it
Absolutely.
really is all about unconditional love, and we're loving even the bad parts of our family. We're loving the alcoholic.
Yes.
We're loving the dead one. We're loving the angry one. It's like everyone is equal, and I think the knowing field, if you could define it, it's absolute neutrality. And we're just using that with everyone. Who are we to judge anybody? And if we can include and love them despite their painful experience, that's where the healing is right there.
That's true.
Because the last one anyone would expect if they're a perpetrator in the family system is to be loved and included.
That's very
Which
true.
is why they might have done what they
What they
did,
did.
because they felt they had to be separate from everyone. So there's many paradoxes with this work. Lately, what I'm finding is okay, great. Lately I'm finding is that we're applying that same, we incarnate into a family for a reason, but we also have an individual soul that's on a mission.
Yes,
and so we've been
okay.
applying the constellation field to our own soul or own spirit's mission from lifetime to lifetime. We chose this family for a reason.
Yes.
And what is our spirit trying to learn through each successive generation of our own incarnations?
Yes.
So I've applied the constellation field to reincarnation and past lives now. And we're getting some amazing results. And the people feel totally vindicated and cleaned of anything that's incomplete in that particular lifetime that shows up. So you may think, I had a Roman life, I had this life, or whatever. That's fine. It's all done blindly. And then when the representative has the experience, whatever shows up, but people have been reporting, oh, I didn't even know that was incomplete in me, or that was a lifetime where there was something that was unresolved. So it's
Exactly.
resolving it for the individual separate from the family now. So we're getting to look at our soul mission and what we're drawn to in this particular lifetime that led us to this family to learn a lesson with the family as well as an individual spirit.
Wow, that is just so powerful. Absolutely powerful. Fascinating. Well, thank you,
Great.
Gary.
Great,
We're
my
going
pleasure.
to talk with you a little bit more. And
Okay,
find out some
excellent.
Excellent more
My
things.
pleasure.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.